this video, we're going to talk about masking, not the masking that everyone does on Halloween. We will be talking about autistic masking. Let's get started. Hey, Define Yourselfers, I am Chris Mitchell from theconfidentautistic.com. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am an autistic adult, late diagnosed, and an advocate for adult autistics, empowering other autistic adults and the entire world to embrace autism. Did you know that various studies have been done, and depending on which study you read, it is estimated that between 70 and 94% of all autistic adults mask? Autistic masking is a learned strategy. We autistics learn how to mask from the feedback we receive from holistics in response to our traits, our behaviors, our characteristics that are part of our autism. Now, autistic masking can involve consciously or subconsciously suppressing autistic behaviors and characteristics, including avoiding reacting to sensory triggers. These sensory triggers could be sight, like a lot of clutter or visual stimulation. Sound could be a noisy crowd or loud explosion, like a balloon popping, firecrackers, whatever. Smell. We try to avoid reacting to a strong scent, like somebody wearing perfume or a smell from a food that makes us that offends us, makes us nauseous, or causes physical pain. Or taste, we try to fake, oh yeah, I like eating spinach, and when you really hate the taste of it just to fit in, that's a way of masking. Or any other sensory triggers you try to avoid reacting to, that's a form of masking. Another form of autistic masking is hiding stimming behaviors like rocking back and forth, flapping hands, pacing, fidgeting, etc. Forcing eye contact is another way that we autistics will mask. For many of us, eye contact is very uncomfortable. We don't like making it, and or we don't like people trying to make eye contact with us. So when we force ourselves to make eye contact, knowing that eye contact is important to autistics, that is forcing the eye contact, that is a form of masking. Autistics who are masking can also be mirroring the behavior of neurotypical people and developing and or using scripts that work in social situations. Now, which is called scripting. And scripting is developing social scripts or rehearsed responses to questions. For example, if you were going to ask somebody out for a date, you would first come up in your mind, how am I going to ask that person? Then you think, how are they going to react? And then you think, okay, if they say yes, this is what I'm going to say. If they say no, this is what I'm going to say. Try to come up with every possible scenario that will happen in a conversation you have with an autistic person. Now, it's important to know that autistic masking can become a routine or subconscious response to social trauma. And when I say social trauma, autistic masking, in essence, is a response to the social trauma we autistics have received in our life for being ourselves around autistic people, having autistic people discriminate against us, having autistic people telling us we're wrong, our behavior is inappropriate, our stimming is inappropriate, disrespecting us, loss of friendships, the list goes on. Those are all social traumas, or dramas, you could call it that if you want, social traumas that have led us and lead us to and encourage us to participate in autism masking. When we autistic mask, more than likely our goal is to avoid being judged by others as different or to fit in with autistics. We mask to avoid autistics biases from forming. We don't want autistic traits to be a reason or to be a source why a autistic person may have a bias against us. Many people in the autistic community like to people please, and that is known as fawning. And we do that in masking. Even though somebody may ask us to go somewhere like to like let's say we get overstimulated by a crowded environment and we really don't want to go, but we want to make that person happy so we don't damage this friendship or relationship or think or that person think that we're weird. We go along and go with them into this noisy environment that makes us uncomfortable, knowing that it's going to maybe trigger us to have autistic challenges, but we're doing that to please them, and that's a form of masking. Another reason that we tend to mask is the fear of losing a friendship or a relationship. For many autistic people, friendships are few and far between. They're hard to understand. They're hard to even develop a new friendship or a relationship. Therefore, we will mask to to ensure to do our best part to keep that friendship or relationship alive and going, even if it makes us uncomfortable. We would rather be in that relationship where we're uncomfortable than being alone or having to find a new friend or new relationship, because that is often a very difficult hurdle for those of us who are in the spectrum. Who is likely to mask? People who fall on the mild end of the spectrum and require little support are more likely to mask. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the term mild and severe, high functioning, low functioning, but this really does best describe people who are more likely to and are able to mask. And these are people who have autism, but it's not, I don't even like the word debilitating, but it's not a major challenge in their life, more of a minor challenge. Females are more likely to mask than male autistics. And I think that's because it's a different type of social structure. Now, I've never been a woman. Nothing wrong with being a woman, but I've never been a woman, so I cannot speak from personal experience. But my theory is because in women's there's more cliques and to get involved in and being with the right people, all that stuff. I don't understand it. I'm a guy, but females are more likely to mask than males, so they can survive in a competitive female society in groups. Adolescents and young adults are also more likely to mask. And that's because during the adolescent and young adult years, there's probably a lot of challenges, a lot of things changing in the world, and they're trying to keep up with it. And they have enough pressures, and they're just trying to fit in with everyone because there's so much peer pressure at that point in life. People who have been bullied or experience social rejection are most likely to mask. And that's because nobody likes being bullied. Nobody likes social rejection or any kind of rejection. And if we are being rejected because we're autistic, we're going to hide those traits so we don't go through that pain again of being bullied or rejected by society. And people who are striving for a particular goal, such as a job or a date or a long-term relationship, will mask just to get what they're wanting because they feel this is the only way they can achieve what they want in life. Now, in the short term, masking helps us gain greater social acceptance as autistic adults and boost our self-confidence, but there is a dark side to masking. The second biggest risk of masking is that it can make diagnosing autism difficult, especially in adults, aka late diagnosed autistics. However, the DSM 5 and the ICD 11 diagnostic criteria both allow for diagnosis even if autistic behaviors are masked. But the biggest risk, it's my belief, and I'm sure you will agree with this, the biggest risk to autistic masking is mental health issues. And the biggest one of those that we need to be concerned about is that autistic masking over time increases or can increase the risk of suicide. And unfortunately, suicide is a leading cause of death within the autism community. Now, if you're having thoughts of self harm or suicide, please text or dial 988 from anywhere in the United States and get the help that you need. There's no shame in admitting that you need help. I've been there myself. I've had to have help. It's okay if you ask for help. There's no judgment here. But along with suicide, other mental health issues can be caused or increase because of masking, and that includes anxiety and depression. And it can also, the masking can also lead to autistic burnout, which is a state of mental and physical exhaustion. Some of the other dark sides or risks to extensive or continuous masking include feelings of isolation, experiencing abuse, maybe verbal and or physical abuse from Aulistics. And this abuse can get pretty dangerous and could even put your life at risk. And if you're in an unsafe situation, please get help because you're very valuable. You deserve to be treated with respect. Also, extensive or long term autistic masking can cause a loss of the sense of yourself because you're masking all the time. You don't even know who your real identity is. You don't know who the real person is. Like when I mask a lot, I will at times ask myself, who is the real Chris Mitchell? And you can lose your own self identity by constantly masking. Masking can also lead to distress behaviors like meltdowns and shutdowns. And finally, one of the risks of autistic masking is a lower quality of authentic living. When you're masking, you're not living your authentic life. You're being someone else. You're being like a character in a TV show or a movie. You're not you. You need, and this is going to damage your authentic living, and it's going to lead to what we talked about a little bit earlier, not knowing who you really are. And it's important for every single person to understand who they are and accept themselves for who they are and any challenges that they have in their life. Because of the dark side of masking, I am a big advocate of unmasking, which leads us to the question, why should we unmask? I was reading this book called Unmasking Autism. It's a wonderful book. I highly recommend people to get the book. And in the book, they mentioned this research that was done by Noah Sanson, and I believe I'm pronouncing Noah's last name correctly. Research by Sanson has shown that is, that when participants, and these are holistic participants, were told they were interacting with an autistic person, their biases against the autistic person disappeared. Knowing when these autistics knew their conversation partner was autistic, the autistics suddenly liked their neurodiverse partner and expressed interest in getting to know them. Having an explanation for the autistic person's autistic characteristics, traits, behaviors puts the autistics at ease, aka makes them a bit more comfortable. And so that basically means that when we take off the mask and be our authentic selves, and people know that we're autistic, and this is why we stammer, why we don't like noise, or why bright light bothers us, or whatever our sensory issues are, we're opening up, we're sharing our authentic self, and that can build friendships. Yes, at times it can be used against us, but you know, people will like you more and will connect with you more if you are your authentic self. Now, follow up research in 2019 by Sanson and Morrison confirmed that when autistics meet an autistic person, their first impressions of them are far more positive, especially if they know that person is autistic at the onset of the two meeting. After the interactions, the autistics have expressed more interest in knowing more about autism. So, taking off your mask and showing the world that you're autistic is a great way to advocate for yourself and for our entire community, which is going to make the world a better place for the autistic adults today and tomorrow's autistic adults. Autistic people can start unmasking by taking small steps to reflect their true selves and by connecting with others who understand. But you're going to need support. And the best way to get support, well, besides maybe counseling, psychiatrists, psychologists, etc., social workers, whatever, is to find a supportive community. Now, these could be real life friends, family members, uh, whatever, but they can also be, and some people feel more comfortable starting with an online community before they start unmasking around their family and friends. And there's hundreds of them out there on social media and all over the internet. In fact, I've started one on book, on Facebook entitled Autistic Adults Embracing Autism. It's a really fun group. There's a link to it in the video description. I encourage you to check it out and check out more than one. I'm involved in many of these groups because it helps me. And not every group is going to be a perfect fit for every person. So if you're not comfortable in that the group does not meet your needs, find another one. Remember, unmasking is a personal journey that you can navigate at your own pace. Each small step is a celebration of your authentic self. But we can't do it alone. Our allies can help us unmask. So if you're an ally of the adult autism community, here's a few things you can do to help your autistic friends, co-workers, family members, etc., clients during their unmasking process. First of all, show acceptance. If one of your autistic friends starts playing with a needle ball, say, hey, that's cool. Accept it. And instead of saying, you know what, that's really distracting the heck out of me. Try not to let it distract you. Accept it because, hey, the autistic people have, for years, have put up things that have distracted them and made them uncomfortable. If this makes us comfortable, try to accept it and embrace it and use it as an opportunity to start a conversation to help them know that you're a safe person to talk to and to be their authentic selves. When an autistic person has an outburst, don't take them personally. At times we get frustrated. We have trouble expressing ourselves. Whatever causes the outburst, maybe it's a sensory overload issue. When we have that outburst, it's not directed towards you. If somebody has a verbal outburst, uh, don't take it personally. They're just expressing their frustration. And if you are an ally, supporting and encouraging a autistic adult, help them come up with workarounds. Let's say one of the stems is licking the palm of the hand, which let's be honest, probably will gross out a lot of people. Maybe help encourage them to get maybe some jewelry where they can chew on something and put it in their mouth, or introduce them to sugar-free gum. Or what I would do is get a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop and let them try to answer that question that nobody's been able to answer for 40, 50 years. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop? Well, maybe some autistic person will find the answer for us. Now is your turn. Share your thoughts on this video. What would you add to this video for others to know about masking and unmasking? Or your experiences, anything you'd like to share, I want to hear it. And if you have an idea for a future video, put it in the comments. I do read each and every comment. So until next time, please show me some love and tell me that the content I'm creating is of value to you and to our community by subscribing to this channel. And when you subscribe, don't forget to ring the bell to be notified of new videos and when I go live right here on the channel. And you can do your part to help grow this channel and help others who are autistic adults and autistics embrace autism and the autism community and the autism life by sharing this video and liking this channel. Finally, take a moment and check out this video that was specifically picked just for you.